joining us for this episode of Inside Town Hall. I'm your host, Madeline Shields. Downtown Sioux Falls always has things going on. Whether it's the burger battle or it's the art and wine walks, there's something for everyone. And joining us this month is City Councilor Jennifer Siggette, who represents the northwest part of the city. I said it right.
You did say it right. Very, very good.
And her guest this month is Brandon Hanson, the CEO of Downtown Sioux Falls. Thank you for joining us. Let's talk a little bit about, first off, talk about Downtown Sioux Falls, or also known as DTSF. What is that for folks who don't know what DTSF is?
Sure. DTSF is, well, actually, I should have Brandon, the CEO.
Absolutely,
Actually, why don't you explain?
Yeah, well, Downtown Sioux Falls, the neighborhood, the geographic boundary, that's established by the city, but that's just kind of this little community. It's 4 square miles. It kind of packed a huge punch for the community as far as quality of life or economic impact. But the organization, the nonprofit, Downtown Sioux Falls Incorporated, is sort of charged with activating the district. We manage the ambassador program in downtown, and we do business advocacy. And so we're just sort of every day kind of constantly making sure that the business community is thriving in downtown and that downtown stays investable for the benefit of the whole city.
He said that much better than I did.
Well, actually,
I thought you were going to ask me about downtown, not DTSF.
Yeah, sure. No worries. So that's the next thing I want to talk about is, as a city councilor, how important is it to have a downtown like what we have, and then incorporate on, I think people are very confused when you say Downtown Sioux Falls geographically, and then Downtown Sioux Falls, the entity, the nonprofit. Right. And so it's just very confusing to people.
Sure. And we'll talk about DTSF, but I just want to kind of talk about downtown as a whole. It's obviously just thriving. Everyone in Sioux Falls understands it, knows it. The visitor rate is just amazing. How many people come to Sioux Falls just to be in our downtown? And like you said earlier, there's always something going on between the Levitt, the Steel District, downtown. Obviously, shopping, restaurants. I'm very passionate about having a great downtown in our city. I'm there every day, I would guess, every weekend. My family and I are down there. So, so I just wanted to highlight downtown and DTSF and all the work they're doing to make it better. So I guess I'm so excited. Brandon is the new CEO. He just started this year. And I think he's just bringing a ton of energy to the organization and to downtown. So I wanted to highlight all the work that they're doing.
Sure. So let's go back to DTSF, or Downtown Sioux Falls, the organization that you run. What exactly is it that the businesses they belong to it? Do they have a choice, or is it like a? I always look at it, is it like a HOA?
Well, a little bit of both,
right.
Honestly. So,
sure.
The organization is funded from a couple places, and so there's a good half of what we're doing is funded by the Business Improvement District tax. And so the property owners in downtown, this is the HOA part where they are paying above and beyond their property taxes, and it's collected and then distributed to DTSF to fund the ambassador program. It funds some marketing, some admin, but it's about 90% the ambassador program. And so those ambassadors are on the street every single day, 7 days a week, cleaning up trash, taking care of graffiti. I think even this morning we're actually at the Bishop Dudley House taking care of a big wall of graffiti. It's technically right outside the boundary of downtown proper, but it matters to us and it's part of our community too. And so we were removing graffiti like that almost every day, pulling up gum stains, and just making sure that downtown looks spick and span for the visitors and for the people who work here and live here and play here.
Sure.
So for those, I just want to add, for those who maybe don't know what the ambassador program is or don't come downtown, you'll see them, they're in red, they've got red jackets or red shirts, they drive little red carts, and I think it's so important. They're the face of our downtown, and I can attest to that. I had some relatives in town last fall, and they were so impressed that they greet visitors, they give directions, and they just are kind of the welcome wagon of our downtown. Right. So I think I just want to lift up those ambassadors because they also do some pretty tough work. So I think it's
and
a great
smiling
program.
every day. They just absolutely
they're so
love
friendly.
The work. The culture's incredible.
Yeah. And so I would encourage just people, if you see them, just thank them for doing a great job.
Yeah, and again, the ambassadors are people who they kind of look out for the businesses that are down there
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So if there's people that are trespassing or loitering or panhandling
Absolutely.
can be happen in anybody's downtown, right?
Right.
So the ambassadors, they have the red shirts on, they're out there and they know folks and they know how to de-escalate situations, and they're also kind. I
They
mean,
are.
they are kind to people who are struggling, and as well as to our visitors to downtown Sioux Falls. Can you talk a little bit about how that program got started?
Yeah, just not many years ago, and this is not unique just to Sioux Falls, and we do get calls kind of pretty often from other communities and asking us how are we doing this and how do we establish our own. But some bigger cities like the Denvers, the Seattles, they have very robust ambassador programs, and so just a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5, we started a clean and green program. That's what we labeled it as prior to this. It was 1 employee in the middle of the night, and it's just trash service. And so the downtown community sort of thought, the magical fairies are cleaning up and this is wonderful, or it just always is that way. And so, as a value proposition for our organization, our previous leader very wisely decided to shift the model, put them in bright red shirts and make them incredibly hard to miss and make them work during the day. And now we've actually been able to add on those visitor services where we're greeting people, giving directions, and sort of being this walking info hub or kiosk as a human being. They literally have info right on their shirt. And so we're kind of prompting people to engage with us. But then it's also allowed us to kind of dip into working with the folks who are experiencing homelessness and being sort of that center of the spoke, where we get to know the folks and get to know their needs, and recommend services or even walk them or drive them to the right place that actually can help them in this community, because we have such a robust social service network in downtown. And so we're just there. We're there immediately and every single day and every minute of every day. And so we're able to kind of jump right in and triage these needs.
Sure. And so, as we're right in the middle of summer, the downtown Sioux Falls is busy. I work and I drive through downtown every single night, and I love people seeing them on the sidewalks because they're waiting to cross the streets. I mean, it's a busy, busy place downtown. Tell us about some of the programs that are going on and some of the changes that we've seen.
Well, should we talk about open streets?
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. So Councilor Spellerberg and I, about 9-10 months ago, we said, wouldn't it be neat if we had more open streets and kind of like just block off the streets and let from cars and just make it more safe for people to walk, and maybe have some food trucks and just kind of have an entertainment area. And so we didn't know kind of the scope of that and how long it would be, but we had quite a few meetings and landed on having First Friday, which traditionally used to be at 8th and Railroad, have First Friday instead be a part of the streets. And so we kind of have piloted that, and June and July, we did one in May too.
We did.
Yep, May 1st, or the first Friday in May, June, July, and then now it's going to be in August and September. So you want to talk about, so we've programmed it. Either the Parks and Rec Department or AARP has been a great partner with it. But yeah, I'll just let Brendan talk about open streets concept.
Yeah, so if I had to say, DTSF does 3 things. One is advocacy, one is ambassadors, and one is activation. And so that activation piece kind of comes in the form of our events, and we typically put them, any event we're doing is to activate space that's inactive. It could be the time of year, or it could be literally the physical block that needs activation. And so we've really targeted these open streets events on places that just need activation. And so the last 2 in particular, June and July, have been right outside the Orpheum Theater on Phillips Avenue, and there are no restaurants or retailers in this area. And so to kind of blend foot traffic, to help these businesses gain from that foot traffic, to kind of prove that activation is pro-business and pro-downtown and pro-Sioux Falls, just through our events is a big priority for us. But yes, June, July, August, May, July, August, we are doing these open streets events.
And they've been very successful. I mean,
very successful.
The crowds, it's really fun just to see people come down, and they feel safe, especially seniors and people maybe who aren't as comfortable with downtown. When the traffic's off the road, it has a very different feel. And so, yeah, it's fun.
Where is it closed off between which street and which street?
It's kind of moved around each time, just to sort of test and get kind of a control and a test, and so we can collect data and show that it's working or it's not, and then it informs us next year if we keep going or if we expand it or if we move it around maybe. And so these last 2 times have been right in front of the Orpheum Theater on 6th Street to 7th Street. In August 1st, it'll be from 10th to 11th Street on Phillips Avenue. So it's a little more busy. It's sort of our comparison effort to kind of compare it to where it's not active. So that one should be really busy. Come early if you're going to show up.
So is it always on Phillips Avenue that it's closed? But it's just, it'll be between 6th and 7th and then the next
10th
one?
and 11th.
10th and 11th,
Yeah.
okay.
All on Phillips Avenue this year, yep.
Okay. Are there bands or not bands? Because they used to
Sometimes.
have, okay, so they used to have, you know, at Wreath and Railroad, when you mentioned the First Fridays, they would have bands. How has that changed?
Yeah, this is more vendor focused, you know, and so each one has had a theme. And so in May, it was our Art and Wine Walk event. We paired it with it, and so we did arts programming. And so if you were an artist and you had an opportunity to make some cash and also just educate the community on your products and your offerings, you came to our event. And so you saw aerial artists, you saw potters, you saw spray paint artists who are doing things with flames and whatnot. Very safe.
Yeah.
You know, we have permits. We have permits and all that. You shift to June, it was more family-friendly focused, and so it was a little more wide of a range. We had Bricks and Minifigs had a booth there. We've had the fire department come out. We've had chess happening there, and then 4th of July was much more themed around the 4th of July. That one I think was our busiest. You know, on average, we're seeing close to 3,200 people at each one. But the 4th of July one, we handed out watermelon for free to the community. We served up 1,200 different people, got free watermelon, ran out immediately, and then we kind of get out of the way and usher people down to the Levitt to support them as well. That's a big part of downtown as well as an amenity. And then August, we're back to arts with our Art and Wine Walk event.
So is there food and drinks available down in this area, and can people openly carry a beer and walk around down there? How does that work?
Food and drink, there are, if there's not already a restaurant there.
Okay.
So when we were in front of 6th and 7th Street here in front of the Orpheum, yes, we bring food trucks, but when we go to 10th and 11th, we won't have any food trucks because there's already restaurants there. And they have lovely patios, so Crawford's, we've got Fauteuil there, BB Soul. We want you to go to the businesses in downtown. So that's the other half of what we do, is that membership base. We want to support them. As far as carrying open containers, we could apply for a special event permit and do that. We haven't done that yet. We actually Art and Wine Walk. We're actually getting you into businesses so you can sample wine. And so we've got alcohol licenses at the 40 businesses that participate. So, yep, you are the container.
Sure. Well, people have asked me that, you know, because they know that I work close to downtown, and I've had people ask me that, and I'm like, you know, I don't know. I don't know if people can walk around and carry a beer in their hand. I had no idea, so that's good that you talked about that.
Yeah.
So go to the businesses. They're down there, and they have drinks for you and food.
Absolutely.
Let's also talk about what's some of the things that we can expect coming up. Of course, you want people to go to the Levitt. And I think in past years I was always a little bit confused of having a band at 8th and Railroad and having bands at the Levitt, because they were going at the same time, and it seemed like it was a kind of a competition, you know, or do you leave this one and run down to that one? And so I guess I was kind of happy to see that it changed a little bit. You know, maybe it could be on 2 different nights or something. I don't know.
No, thank you for saying that. That's great. That's a perfect example of where we activate the inactive. So the music scene wasn't what it was when we started those block parties or even Riverfest, you know, 12, 13 years ago. So as the Levitt has kind of grown and exploded just with the work that incredible work that they're doing, they're actually, you know, pulling in, they're ranking higher than any other Levitt in the country on almost every single metric. They're just doing such amazing work, and so it was just clear it was time for us to move and to do something different and activate some other space that wasn't active. You know, they can't really move. They have a physical building, and this is the core of what they do. So we can kind of get out of the way now and focus our efforts on something else. And someday, whatever we focus on next, someone else is going to pick up too. That's kind of the beauty of DTSF is, you know, we kind of prompt something. We're really a kind of a pilot project for the community, and then we can get out of the way and do the next thing that's the priority. So,
And every month you have something else. You have the 4th of July activities, and then you're going to do another art and wine walk in August, the month of August. What else can we expect? Are there new things on the horizon? And do you guys collaborate with the city council, with other entities when you decide you're going to do these things in downtown?
The Open Streets, certainly we've collaborated. And when we support the ambassador program, so there's definitely conversations that happen a lot between city council, or the city of Sioux Falls in general, and DTSF. So
yeah, and I think it's growing rapidly. I just left and was meeting with the parking department, and so it's starting to develop and grow in a beautiful way. There's synergies there that we can help each other. So,
can you talk a little bit about the membership for downtown, the businesses that are down there? How did they fit into your goals and what you plan to do, or anything new that you do? How do you get everybody on the same page? There's I'm sure a lot of opinions and a lot of businesses that have ideas about things. You got a big job, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. So
how do you keep everybody happy?
Yeah. So our membership, that's where it's sort of you opt in. You don't have to be a member of DTSF. Most of the businesses in downtown are. We have different tiers within our membership, and so just depending on how engaged you want to be or what part of DTSF you want to engage in, you choose your membership level. And so we've got about 3 tiers who are really, really interested in our events. They want to be part of Burger Battle. A lot of these restaurants in January would be dead without Burger Battle, and so again, activating the inactive. They're making rent for a couple months just from this one promotion, if not many months. It's just been an incredible effort that we've done that we're going to continue to do forever and ever. And other communities are stealing it now, which is such a beautiful thing. Honestly, we don't own economic impact, and if it benefits other communities, please take it.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Now other towns, but also other parts of the city. You're a representative of the northwest part of the city, and there's lots of restaurants in the northwest area that they're starting to do the same thing. And is that okay?
Absolutely.
How do you promote each other and how do you support each other as a city as the whole then?
I mean, economic development is economic development anywhere, whether you're going to Shenanigans way over in my neck of the woods or Shenanigans downtown.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think just maybe the difference is the downtown one has the history, has the time that has been able to ramp it up, but also if you pull up a sales tax barometer or a heat map or even a property tax, most of it's coming from downtown, and so driving that economic impact into downtown ultimately benefits the whole city. But if a restaurant does well somewhere else, awesome. I think that's great.
For sure.
Yeah, great. Did you have anything to add? What was my other question? Talked about, the Burger Battle, but what's new? Do you have any? Are you scheming? I mean,
always.
We want to let our audience get in on something.
Always. I think for DTSF, we're you've got a new guy at the organization. You've got a lot of new employees at the organization. Really, a lot of energy from the board, and so we're kind of trying to realign with our roots. And so we're a 501c4 organization. We're actually built as an advocacy organization. We're talking local advocacy. That's what's going on right here with council, with the mayor, with city departments. And it's all centered around economic development. It's making sure that downtown stays investable, that as projects come down the line, maybe 10 years out, things that most of us don't really think about because it's so far away and it's hard to conceptualize, making sure that the connectivity, the walkability, the safety, the foot traffic continues to go to downtown because it does ultimately benefit all of us in the city. That's how we get quality of life. If you have a pothole in front of your house on the south side of town, it's being filled and paid for because the money that's going into downtown. And so you're going to see DTSF get a lot more rooted into that advocacy work. It might mean paring back some events and focusing more on quality than quantity, and just tightening up our organization a bit.
We talk about so what's next. I'll say it from the city end, from city council and from the city administration. Something we're kind of excited about, and it's not by no means a done deal, but is getting better signage, especially for parking. People, I hear a lot, and so that's more of a city role, to pay for signs and parking. But it's a partnership. What is their organization seeing that is needed versus what is our parking experts that work for the city? What are they seeing? But I hear a lot, just as a counselor, people even who live live in Sioux Falls, who've lived here for 20 years. Oh, I don't like to go downtown because there's no parking. I don't know where to park. And then certainly our outside people. I work with, little towns all across the state, and they're really afraid of downtown. And I get it. I used to be one of those people growing up. And so if you're not familiar, you get kind of nervous. It'd be no different than plunking me in a big city that I've never been to and say, park your car. You rely on that signage. And so we would like to see, we've kind of been getting some estimates put together on what would, like for example, the parking ramps. You see in big cities that it says, 300 spaces and there's 40 remaining. And so before you drive in, you go to large cities and you see just different signage than we have. And as we grow and as our downtown grows, I just want to really make it friendly to people who are, especially from out of town. If they want to come to the Levitt, I don't want parking to be a fear of theirs. So it's not real, just like all other city business, it's not real sexy and glamorous. But we're going to get better signs for parking downtown. He can have big events. And and
I think that's a really beautiful way to put it too, is, I hear a lot of stuff from the business community, even visitors and residents. And so we get to act as sort of a funnel, and so they can rely on DTSF to say, what do the people actually want? And so we can do some kind of grassroots guerrilla polling of the community and figure out what the actual need is, so that we can tailor tax dollars a little more specifically.
Sure. And I'm smiling over here because you're talking about the out-of-towners. It's the West Siders. How do you get them downtown that are like afraid of going downtown? And it's always bad. I'm like, there's plenty of parking. It's not that big of a deal. And I'm like, follow me. I know where the 2-hour parking is too. There's lots of 2-hour parking if you just want to run downtown and have a lunch quick.
Absolutely.
And so, I think that one of the things I hear and see of as a challenge is, there's too many people. But I'm like, go back to our roots, people. We're 1985 graduates where we had the loop down there. We lived down there back in the 80s until they booted us out. I'm like, come back, because the downtown is fun, but the outside everywhere else is fun too, So. So that's just, some of the observations, and I know that that's been a challenge, I think, for the City Council for many years that they've talked about trying to get people to come down, the locals to come down.
And to feel safe and comfortable, because, it really is a safe, great place to visit.
Very good. Okay, is there anything I missed before we take a quick break?
I don't think so.
All right.
We could talk all day.
Yeah, exactly. I could.
Okay, volunteers. One quick question.
Yes.
Volunteers. Do you need volunteers for?
Always. Okay. Yes. So our organization, we've got kind of two factions like we've talked about. The ambassadors, there's 7 of them. As far as office staff, the people putting on these events, there's only 5 of us. And so when we put on these huge events like Riverfest, we need people. So there's no shortage of jobs we could give away. So if there's 200 people that show up, we'll figure out how to use you. And so Open Streets, August 1 is your first opportunity. Next opportunity will be Riverfest, September 20th. Parade of Lights, biggest parade in this community. 20 to 30,000 people coming out on Black Friday to celebrate in downtown. That's November 29th this year. So join us. I know you probably have in-laws in town. It's a perfect way to get away from them. So,
how do they sign up to volunteer? Where do they go to the website?
Our website, DTSF.com. We've got forms on there so you can sign up for volunteer opportunities. Yeah. Okay. Or if you want to sponsor something, go ahead too. So.
Very good. Well, thank you for joining us. Yeah. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to continue our conversation with Councilor Siggette. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, I'm Dr. Cooper from Falls Community Health, and I'm here to talk to you about sun protection. First, I have a joke. What do you call a sunburn librarian? Well read. Sunscreen use can help prevent skin cancer, which is estimated to affect 1 in 5 Americans. You should use sunscreen that offers the following: broad spectrum protection, SPF 30 or higher, and water resistance. Do this even on cloudy days when up to 80% of the sun's rays can penetrate the clouds. Skin cancer is no joke. If you have any questions about sun protection or other things this summer, please contact your doctor or Falls Community Health.
Welcome back to Inside Town Hall, where we are visiting with City Councilor Jennifer Siggette. Tell me about your first year on the job as a city councilor. How's it going?
It's busy.
It is very busy.
Very, very busy. City councils, as much as much or as little as you want to put into it. Obviously, we have to have Tuesday night meetings or the Tuesday night meetings, and then there's a handful of other that you kind of need to go through throughout the week. But otherwise, it's as much as or little as you want to put into it. And I'll tell you, everyone on council right now really puts a lot of time in. And so I think that's something that the city, we probably need to talk about in the future is our city charter and maybe kind of reevaluating what the role of city council is, because we've grown. When this charter was put into place, they expected city councilors would maybe work 10 hours a week, and the city had 80,000 people. Well, obviously, we all know it's a much different city now, and so we're all putting in, I'd say 30, 35 hours a week, and we have day jobs, it's a lot, so it's been busy, but I say all that, it's also been super fun. I mean, I've learned so much. And I enjoy learning. I've met some great people, so it's been fun.
So what have been some of the challenges that you faced in the last year on the job?
Probably one that I wasn't expecting. Before being in this role on council, I just looked at the city councilors, the mayor, the department directors, the people working on the streets. Everybody who worked for the city is just all part of the city, and that's true. But we have a unique role as city councilors that we don't answer to the mayor. We answer to the people. We answer to the constituents and the people who voted for us. And so sometimes that puts us in a little bit of a challenging position with the administration, because here, I'll have lunch with the director. We'll talk through projects. We're in meetings with them. I have a great amount of respect for all of them. They're super smart people, and they're experts in their field, but they're not always listening to people or hearing from people like we are. So there's times where we'll have lunch and meetings and everything's fine, and then in those city council meetings we have to vote against their projects, and that's just uncomfortable. It's tough sometimes, but that's the job that we have to do. They do their job, we do our job, and then in the end we all go out for lunch.
Right.
So it's fine,
yeah.
But it's sometimes a challenge.
What have you seen that has been just like you're super excited about in the last year that has opened? I mean, there's been lots of new things downtown in the city.
Speaking of downtown, of course I have to. It's again, city projects are not big glamorous things usually. They're roads. Yeah. I'm excited about the street project that's happening on West 12th Street right now because I drive on it every day. So I just have to say I'm excited about all the projects that we kind of have going on right now. We're a growing city, and I think we're keeping up with that growth, and that's going to continue to be our challenge.
Yeah, they always say there's two seasons, road construction and winter.
Yes, yes. Yep,
so,
it's true.
So every route I'm taking
we're in the thick of it right now, and no doubt. The Cliff and 229 interchange is, that's a huge project if you haven't driven by it. So, but
yeah, and it's a lot to think about when this is a part-time position for city councilors. What are you looking forward to next year as you progress in your role as a city councilor?
Well, that's a good question. I'm very excited. I talked when I was on here a year ago about North Marion Road, and we have gotten that moved up into the capital plan, so we're going to start working on that road a little quicker. Frank Olson Pool, we're still working on that. We have been. I think we're going to get that wrapped up here in the next couple months. So. There's big things, but actually it's more like just a week-to-week thing. It's different every week. Next Tuesday, I can already tell you we're going to have lots of discussions on some zoning issues, and every Tuesday it brings a whole new group of issues. So,
is it what you expected?
Yeah, for the most part. It's what you make of it, and I've really enjoyed jumping in and learning a lot. So I was very excited. I'm very proud. I was able to pass the ordinance of large vehicles on Phillips. Oh, sure. That kind of so now there's lines painted on a few blocks of Phillips that you can't have your car going over, which has been so well received. People are really excited that it's a lot easier to drive now downtown, a lot safer. So I was happy about that. That was exciting. That was fun. So.
Yeah. Well, very good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service, and this won't be the last time you are on Inside Town Hall. You have 3 years left.
Yes, I do.
Yes,
yep.
at least. So, thank you for your time today.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Well, that's our time for Inside Town Hall. If you have any questions or concerns, or you want more information about what's going on in the city of Sioux Falls, go to the website siouxfalls.gov. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next month.